Some people don't feel pain due to a rare condition known as congenital insensitivity to pain, CIP. CIP is a genetic disorder where the body's pain-detecting nerve cells are altered, so pain signals don't reach the brain properly. Normally, pain helps alert us to injuries or harmful situations, but with CIP, people can't sense this, which can be dangerous. Without pain as a warning, they might not notice injuries, burns, or other damage, leading to complications or infections. There are other conditions too, like certain nerve disorders or side effects from specific medications that can reduce or eliminate pain sensation. However, for those with CIP, it's a lifelong condition. Scientists study people with this condition to understand pain better, hoping to develop new pain relief treatments for others. This condition shows how essential pain is for protection and survival, even though it can be uncomfortable. A tornado is a violently rotating column of air extending from a thunderstorm to the ground. It forms when warm, moist air meets cold, dry air, creating instability in the atmosphere. Winds at different altitudes move at varying speeds, causing the air to rotate horizontally. When a strong updraft from a thunderstorm tilts this rotating air vertically, it can develop into a tornado. Tornadoes are measured using the enhanced Fujita F scale, which ranges from EF0 weak to EF5 extremely violent, based on wind speeds and the damage caused. They can destroy buildings, uproot trees, and toss debris over great distances. Tornadoes are most common in the United States, particularly in an area known as Tornado Alley, but can occur in many parts of the world. Due to their unpredictable nature, they pose significant risks to communities in their path. Tornadoes form within large thunderstorms, specifically those known as supercell thunderstorms. These storms have a rotating updraft that creates a spinning column of air called a vortex. Warm, moist air rises rapidly in the thunderstorm, creating an updraft. This updraft can begin to rotate due to differences in wind speed and direction at different altitudes. As the updraft rotates, it stretches and intensifies the spinning air, forming a vertical column of rotating air called a vortex. If the vortex becomes strong enough, it can draw moisture from the surrounding air, creating a visible funnel cloud. When the funnel cloud reaches the ground, it becomes a tornado. The tornado's intensity depends on the strength of the updraft and the rotation within the vortex. Tornadoes can vary in size, intensity, and duration. They can range from small, weak tornadoes that last only a few minutes to large, powerful tornadoes that can cause significant damage and last for several hours. The universe is unbelievably vast and complex, and one of the strangest phenomena within it is a neutron star. Neutron stars are formed when a massive star explodes in a supernova, leaving behind a core so dense that protons and electrons fuse to create neutrons. Despite being only about 20 kilometers, 12 miles in diameter, a neutron star can have more mass than the sun. Just a single teaspoon of neutron star matter would weigh around 6 billion tons on Earth. These stars also spin incredibly fast, sometimes hundreds of times per second, and emit beams of radiation from their magnetic poles, which we detect as pulsating lights, called pulsars. The study of neutron stars not only gives insight into the life cycle of stars, but also pushes the boundaries of physics, helping scientists understand the extremes of matter and gravity in ways we can barely imagine. The most survival chances in a glacier or desert depend on various factors, but generally, a desert might offer slightly better odds. In a glacier, freezing temperatures, lack of shelter, and the risk of falling into crevasses make survival challenging. Hypothermia and frostbite are immediate threats, and food is scarce. However, a glacier has one key resource: water, though it needs to be melted. In contrast, a desert is harsh due to extreme heat during the day and cold at night, with little water and vegetation. Dehydration is the biggest challenge. However, deserts offer more opportunities to find shelter in caves or under rocks, and in some cases, sparse plants or animals for food. Ultimately, both environments are extreme, but survival skills, knowledge of the area, and access to resources make deserts slightly more survivable for longer durations than glaciers. The catacombs of Paris, a vast underground network of tunnels, hold the remains of over 6 million people. In the late 18th century, the city's cemeteries became so overcrowded that bones were exhumed and transferred to these underground quarries. Stretching over 200 miles, only a small portion is open to the public, but hidden sections of the catacombs remain unexplored, adding to the eerie atmosphere. In parts of the catacombs, human bones are stacked neatly into patterns along the walls, while others lie in chaotic piles. Urban explorers, known as cataphiles, occasionally venture into the forbidden sections, sometimes discovering graffiti, sculptures, or strange artifacts left behind by others. Legends of hauntings, ghostly figures, and disturbing sounds further add to its unsettling reputation, with some claiming to have gotten lost and never found their way out of the labyrinthine passages. In 1971, a woman named Juliane Kupka miraculously survived a plane crash in the Peruvian rainforest. On Christmas Eve, Lanza Flight 508 was struck by lightning, causing the plane to disintegrate mid-air. Juliane, just 17 years old at the time, was still strapped to her seat when she fell about 10,000 feet into the dense jungle. Astonishingly, she survived the fall with only a broken collarbone, a gash in her arm, and a swollen eye. Having grown up in the jungle with her biologist parents, she used her knowledge to stay alive. For 11 days, she trekked through the rainforest, battling hunger, injury, and swarms of insects, until she was rescued by local loggers. Her survival story remains one of the most remarkable and incredible tales of endurance, demonstrating the strength of the human spirit in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. In the 19th century, people in Europe and the US were so afraid of being buried alive that they invented safety coffins. These coffins were equipped with bells, flags, or air tubes, allowing the mistakenly buried to signal for help. This fear wasn't entirely unfounded. Some medical conditions, like catalepsy, could make a person appear dead with a slowed heartbeat and shallow breathing. There are documented cases where exhumed bodies were found in disarray, with scratch marks inside the lids of coffins, suggesting they had woken up after burial. These terrifying incidents led to the creation of the safety coffins, where the buried person could pull a string attached to a bell above ground to alert anyone nearby. Imagine walking through a cemetery and hearing a bell ringing from below the ground. That's the stuff of nightmares. Blue is a rare color in nature because most organisms rely on pigments to produce color, and blue pigments are uncommon. Instead of having blue pigments, many creatures and plants display blue through structural coloration. This happens when microscopic structures on surfaces interact with light, reflecting blue wavelengths. Examples include the wings of butterflies and feathers of birds like peacocks. The molecular structures that produce blue pigments, such as in plants, are difficult to evolve due to the complexity of producing compounds that specifically reflect blue light. Additionally, blue wavelengths are scattered by the atmosphere and water, making the sky and oceans appear blue, which reduces the evolutionary pressure for organisms to develop blue pigmentation. This combination of pigment rarity and reliance on light reflection makes blue a less common color in the natural world. In 1959, 9 experienced hikers mysteriously died in Russia's Ural Mountains, in what became known as the Dyatlov Pass incident. Their tent was found ripped open from the inside, with the hikers fleeing barefoot into the freezing snow. Some were found with strange injuries. One had a fractured skull, another had severe chest trauma equivalent to a car crash, and one was missing her tongue. Strangely, there were no external wounds and no signs of a struggle. Radiation was later detected on some of their clothing, adding to the mystery. The official investigation concluded that the hikers died due to a compelling natural force, but no one could explain exactly what happened. Over the years, theories have ranged from secret military tests to extraterrestrial encounters. To this day, no one knows what caused the terrifying deaths, leaving it one of the most chilling unsolved mysteries in history. Insects have white or pale-colored blood because their circulatory system is different from that of vertebrates like humans. Insect blood, called hemolymph, lacks red blood cells and hemoglobin, the protein responsible for oxygen transport and giving blood its red color in humans and other animals. Insects don't rely on their blood to carry oxygen. Instead, they have a separate respiratory system made up of tiny tubes called tracheae that directly deliver oxygen to their cells. As a result, their blood is not involved in oxygen transport, which is why there's no need for hemoglobin or red coloring. Hemolymph primarily transports nutrients, hormones, and waste products, but its white or pale yellow color comes from its composition, which includes water, salts, proteins, and various other substances. It also helps with other bodily functions, like immune responses and wound healing, but it doesn't have the red tint that human blood does. The existence of the Yeti also known as the abominable snowman, has been debated for centuries. While many stories and sightings of a large ape-like creature in the Himalayas have been reported, there is no scientific proof that the Yeti exists. Most evidence, like footprints or blurry photos, has been considered inconclusive or hoaxes. Some explanations suggest that these sightings could be misidentified animals, like bears. So while the Yeti is a popular figure in folklore and adventure stories, there's no solid evidence to confirm its existence. Memes originated as a concept in 1976, when evolutionary biologist Richard Dawkins coined the term in his book, The Selfish Gene. He used it to describe how cultural information spreads and evolves, much like genes do in biology. In the digital age, memes took on a new meaning, referring to humorous or thought-provoking images, videos, or text that are shared and spread rapidly across the internet. The rise of social media platforms such as Reddit, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter accelerated the viral spread of memes, making them an essential part of online culture. Memes often rely on irony, satire, or relatable humor, and can touch on virtually any subject, from pop culture and politics to everyday life. Their shareable nature allows them to transcend borders and communities, creating a common language for internet users worldwide, evolving quickly as trends and topics change. The blue whale is the largest animal ever known to have lived on Earth, even bigger than the largest dinosaurs. These marine giants can grow up to 100 feet in length and weigh as much as 200 tons, equivalent to about 33 elephants. Despite their massive size, blue whales feed on some of the tiniest creatures in the ocean. Krill. A blue whale can consume up to 4 tons of krill in a single day. Their heart is the size of a small car, and its beat can be detected from over 2 miles away. Yet, despite their grandeur, blue whales are remarkably graceful swimmers, cruising at speeds up to 20 miles per hour. Sadly, they were once hunted to near extinction, but conservation efforts have helped their numbers slowly recover, offering hope for one of Earth's most magnificent creatures. North Sentinel Island, part of India's Andaman and Nicobar Islands, is renowned for its isolation and mystery. Island is home to the Sentinelese, one of the last uncontacted tribes on Earth, who have lived there for thousands of years. They are known for their extreme hostility toward outsiders, aggressively resisting any attempts at contact. This fierce protection of their territory has kept the world largely in the dark about their way of life, language, and culture. The mystery deepened with violent encounters, including the killing of 2 fishermen in 2006 and an American missionary, John Allen Chow, in 2018. Indian authorities have declared the island off limits, both to protect the tribe from diseases they have no immunity to and to prevent further violence. The Sentinelese's rejection of modernity, combined with the limited knowledge of their culture, contributes to the island's ongoing intrigue and enigma. You can create a language, and it's called conlanging, constructed language. To do this, you'll need to focus on a few key aspects. First, decide on phonology, the sounds your language will use, such as vowels and consonants, and how they combine. Then, establish the grammar, which includes the rules for how sentences are structured. You can choose an order like subject-verb-object, SVO, or another pattern. Next, create a vocabulary, inventing words or borrowing from other languages. You can make them as unique or familiar as you want. If you want your language to be written, you'll also need a writing system, which can be based on an existing alphabet or entirely new symbols. Whether for fun, storytelling, or communication, creating a language is a creative process with endless possibilities. There is no known bacteria capable of causing a real-life zombie apocalypse, but certain organisms exhibit zombie-like effects in other species. For instance, Toxoplasma gondii is a parasite that infects rodents and alters their behavior, making them more likely to be eaten by predators. Though it infects humans, it doesn't have the same mind-controlling effect. Another example is the Ophiocordyceps fungus, which infects insects like ants, manipulating their behavior to spread spores. These zombie ants climb to high points before dying, allowing the fungus to thrive. Lastly, while not a bacteria, the rabies virus can cause aggression and irrational behavior in infected animals. Some speculate that a mutated virus like rabies could lead to zombie-like symptoms, but this is purely hypothetical. In reality, no bacteria or organism exists that could cause the widespread, mind-controlling chaos of a zombie apocalypse. The world's deepest man-made hole is the Kola super-deep borehole in Russia, reaching a depth of 12,262 meters, 40,230 feet. Drilling began in 1970 in an attempt to study Earth's crust and gather geological data. The goal was to reach as far into the Earth's mantle as possible. However, the extreme heat and pressure encountered at such depths, where temperatures reached over 180 degrees, made further drilling unfeasible. The borehole provided valuable scientific insights into the Earth's structure, including the discovery of microscopic plankton fossils at 6 kilometers below the surface, and unexpected seismic data that changed our understanding of crust composition. The project was abandoned in 1992 due to technical challenges and funding issues. Despite being the deepest, it represents only a fraction of the Earth's 6,371-kilometer radius, showcasing the immense difficulty of penetrating even a small part of our planet's crust. The world's largest man-made hole is the Bingham Canyon Mine, also known as the Kennecott Copper Mine, located southwest of Salt Lake City, Utah. This open-pit copper mine, operational since 1906, is more than 4 kilometers wide and 1.2 kilometers deep, making it the largest excavation of its kind on Earth. Over the years, it has produced more than 19 million tons of copper, along with significant quantities of gold, silver, and molybdenum. The mine is so large that it's visible from space, and its operations have removed billions of tons of rock. It's considered an engineering marvel, but has also raised concerns about environmental impact, including landscape disruption and water contamination. Despite this, it remains one of the world's top producers of copper and a significant part of Utah's economy. Ongoing operations are expected to continue for decades, further expanding the massive pit. When we sniff a bad smell, like rotting food or waste, our brain reacts quickly. The nose's olfactory receptors send signals to the brain's limbic system, which controls emotions and survival instincts. If the brain detects a dangerous or harmful odor, it may trigger a protective response, nausea or even vomiting. This is because bad smells can signal the presence of toxins or spoiled substances that could make us sick if ingested. Vomiting helps to expel harmful substances from the body. Additionally, the brain also activates the vagus nerve, which controls functions like heart rate and digestion, leading to the feeling of nausea. This is the body's way of protecting itself from potentially dangerous substances in the environment by rejecting them before they enter the system. Numerous animals have gone extinct throughout Earth's history, often due to human activity and environmental changes. Notable examples include the woolly mammoth, which roamed the northern parts of North America and Eurasia until about 4,000 years ago, and the dodo, a flightless bird from Mauritius that disappeared in the late 17th century due to hunting and habitat loss. The passenger pigeon and great auk also exemplify the consequences of overhunting and habitat destruction. Other extinct species, like the thylacine and Steller's sea cow, highlight the impact of human exploitation on wildlife. Additionally, prehistoric creatures like Tyrannosaurus rex became extinct during mass extinction events. Today's conservation efforts aim to protect endangered species and prevent further extinctions, emphasizing the importance of preserving biodiversity for future generations. The oldest known tree in the world is a bristlecone pine, Pinus longeva, named Methuselah, located in the White Mountains of California, USA. Methuselah is over 4,800 years old and is still alive today, making it one of the longest living individual trees on Earth. Its exact location is kept secret to protect it from vandalism. There are even older clonal tree colonies, like Pando, a quaking aspen colony in Utah, which is estimated to be over 80,000 years old. However, Pando is considered a clonal organism, meaning it consists of genetically identical trees connected by a single root system, rather than a single tree. In terms of individual trees, Methuselah holds the record for longevity. Earth's weight changes slightly daily, but overall it is slowly increasing. The primary factor for the increase is space dust and meteoroids, which add about 40,000 tons of material to Earth each year. However, Earth also loses some mass, mainly through the escape of light gases like hydrogen and helium into space, which accounts for around 90 tons per year. Despite this, the accumulation of space debris outweighs the mass lost through atmospheric escape. Overall, the increase in Earth's weight is very small compared to its total mass, making the day-to-day changes negligible in terms of global impact. The Puri Jagannath Temple, located in Puri, Odisha, is one of the most sacred Hindu temples, dedicated to Lord Jagannath, an avatar form of Lord Vishnu. Built in the 12th century by King Anantavarman Chodaganga Deva of the Eastern Ganga dynasty, the temple is a major pilgrimage site and one of the Chardham destinations for Hindus. The temple is famous for Lord Jagannath, Lord Balabhadra, and Subhadra, and temple-towering architecture, with a massive main shrine called the Shikhar, standing over 200 feet high. The deities worshipped here are Lord Jagannath, along with his siblings Balabhadra and Subhadra. The most famous event associated with the temple is the annual Rath Yatra, or chariot festival, where the deities are taken out in giant chariots to the Gundicha temple. The temple complex is also known for its intricate carvings, massive walls, and cultural significance, attracting millions of devotees and tourists every year. Around 66 million years ago, an asteroid struck Earth and is believed to have caused the mass extinction of the dinosaurs. This catastrophic event occurred at what is now the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, forming the Chicxulub crater. The asteroid, approximately 10-15 kilometers in diameter, hit the Earth with immense force, releasing energy equivalent to billions of atomic bombs. The impact triggered a series of devastating events: massive tsunamis, widespread wildfires, and a cloud of debris that filled the atmosphere. This blocked sunlight, drastically cooling the planet and disrupting ecosystems globally. Photosynthesis ceased, causing the collapse of food chains, leading to the extinction of about 75% of Earth's species, including all non-avian dinosaurs. The event marked the end of the Cretaceous period and the beginning of the Paleogene, altering life on Earth and paving the way for mammals, including humans, to eventually dominate the planet. The mystery of the Mary Celeste is one of the most enduring maritime enigmas. In 1872, the Mary Celeste ship was found adrift in the Atlantic Ocean, with no crew aboard but otherwise intact. The Mary Celeste had departed from New York, bound for Genoa, Italy, carrying a cargo of alcohol. When it was discovered by the Dei Gratia crew, the ship was in seaworthy condition, with enough provisions, but the crew had vanished. Personal belongings, the ship's logbook, and cargo were undisturbed, adding to the mystery. There were no signs of violence, struggle, or a clear reason for abandonment. Over the years, theories have ranged from piracy and mutiny to natural disasters like waterspouts or seaquakes. Some even speculate about paranormal involvement. However, no definitive explanation has ever been confirmed, and the fate of the crew remains an unsolved mystery, leaving the Mary Celeste to linger as one of the great sea legends. In 2009, 26-year-old John Edward Jones became trapped in Nutty Putty Cave, Utah, during a family spelunking trip. Exploring a narrow passage known as the Birth Canal, John became stuck head down in an extremely tight vertical tunnel. Despite a nearly 27-hour rescue effort, he couldn't be freed due to the cave's narrowness and his position, which cut off blood circulation to parts of his body. Tragically, John died from cardiac arrest caused by the strain of being trapped. His body was left in the cave as recovery was too dangerous, and the cave was permanently sealed shortly after, making it his final resting place. This incident highlighted the risks of cave exploration and led to increased awareness about cave safety. Sweets tend to overcome spiciness because sugar can counteract the effects of spicy compounds, like capsaicin, which is found in spicy food like chili peppers. Capsaicin binds to receptors in your mouth, creating a burning sensation. Sugar works in two ways to reduce this. It coats the mouth, providing a soothing layer that lessens the intensity of the heat, and it shifts your brain's focus by stimulating pleasure receptors, distracting from the spiciness. Additionally, sugar can slightly block capsaicin's ability to activate the heat receptors. That's why sugary foods or drinks, like milk with sugar or honey, are often effective at neutralizing the burn from spicy foods. This combination of chemical and sensory effects makes sweetness a quick remedy for taming spice. The Flat Earth Theory, the belief that the Earth is flat rather than a spherical planet. The Flat Earth Theory originated in ancient civilizations like Mesopotamia and Egypt, where the Earth was believed to be flat based on local observations. Early Greek philosophers such as Pythagoras and Aristotle provided evidence of a spherical Earth around 500 BCE. By the Middle Ages, most educated people in Europe accepted the Earth as round. However, in the 19th century, Samuel Rowbotham revived the flat Earth idea with zetetic astronomy, misinterpreting scientific and biblical texts. This led to the formation of the Flat Earth Society in the 1950s. Despite scientific evidence from space exploration, the theory saw a resurgence in the 21st century, fueled by internet conspiracy groups. Ferruccio Lamborghini, an Italian entrepreneur, founded Lamborghini in 1963. Originally a successful tractor manufacturer, Lamborghini owned several Ferraris, but was dissatisfied with their reliability and felt they were too noisy and uncomfortable. After a disagreement with Enzo Ferrari over his car's clutches, Lamborghini decided to build his own line of luxury sports cars, blending power with comfort. The first model, the 350 GT, was released in 1964, followed by the Miura in 1966, which became an iconic design. Lamborghini's brand quickly gained a reputation for its high-performance cars, with bold, stylish designs. Despite financial difficulties in the 1970s, the company persisted through several ownership changes. Today, Lamborghini remains a symbol of luxury and innovation in the world of supercars, continuing to push boundaries in design and technology. Deep in the isolated mountains of northern Italy, a creepy, oversized pink bunny sprawls across the mountainside, as if it has been dropped there by some giant unseen hand. It's a bizarre, eerie figure that looks like it met a grisly fate. This is a giant bunny, typically refers to Haze, which means hair in German, a massive pink knitted rabbit sculpture created by the art collective Gelatin. It was installed in 2005 on Colletto Fava, a mountain in northern Italy's Piedmont region. The sculpture is about 200 feet long and 20 feet high. It's made from fabric and straw and was designed to resemble a giant stuffed animal that appears to have been dropped onto the mountainside. Exaggerated features like open eyes and a tongue sticking out, as if the bunny has crash-landed or been left in a humorous yet disheveled state. The artist intended for the giant bunny to be interactive, encouraging visitors to climb on it, relax and explore its form, while enjoying the natural landscape. It was also meant to naturally decompose over time as part of the artwork's life cycle. As of recent years, the sculpture has significantly decayed due to weather conditions, and now, judging from Google Maps satellite images, it looks like only the outline is left.
The Leaning Tower of Pisa, famous freestanding bell tower located in Pisa, Italy. Known for its unintended tilt, the tower is part of the cathedral of the city of Pisa and stands on the Piazza del Duomo. The construction of the tower began in 1173 and continued for almost 200 years, due to interruptions caused by wars and other issues. The tower was completed in the 14th century. The tower stands approximately 56 meters, about 183 feet tall, and has 8 stories, including the chamber for the 7 bells. It is made of white and gray marble. The tilt of the tower was caused by unstable foundation soil. As the soft ground started to settle unevenly, the tower began to lean. Despite attempts to correct the tilt during construction, the lean continued to increase. In the 1990s, extensive restoration work was carried out to stabilize the tower and reduce its tilt to prevent collapse. Engineers reduced the lean by about 45 centimeters, 18 inches.
The Bermuda Triangle, also known as the Devil's Triangle, is an area in the North Atlantic Ocean where numerous aircraft and ships are said to have disappeared under mysterious circumstances. This region is roughly defined by points in Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, forming a triangular shape. The Bermuda Triangle has been the subject of many myths, legend, and conspiracy theories over the years. Some people believe that unusual magnetic fields, rogue waves, and underwater gas eruptions, or even alien activity, are responsible for the disappearances. However, there is no scientific evidence to support these claims, and many of the reported incidents have been attributed to natural causes, such as severe weather, human error, or technical malfunctions. Some people believe that unusual magnetic fields. The Bermuda Triangle is heavily traveled by commercial and private vessels and aircraft, and most pass through without any issues.